during the taping of this episode, we didn't realize that Jaxon had some audio problems on his end, but we went ahead through it together anyway. So, fair warning, Jaxon's side of the conversation's going to sound a little bit like a robot.
The following episode contains explicit content. You've been warned.
Everybody wants to be something they're not and have shit they ain't got. Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. Just be nice. You don't have to be that guy. Show some respect. Just be a person. Love one another.
So, yeah, no punk rock Trump? You said you're waiting for that album to be released?
Oh yeah, I know it's coming.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Trump has been more punk rock than MGK.
Hot take. That's a hot take.
That's a hot take. Well, I mean, punk rock is anti-establishment, and that's what Trump, like, the establishment wants to oust Trump. So, hey, therefore, Trump, it has to be punk rock. So this shirt is actually pretty accurate.
I would say they're a little more the same in terms of fake punk.
Oh no, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
It's all fucking bullshit.
On the
Like, we
spectrum,
can't-
he's kind of punk. That's kind of what that's a pretty good. I actually feel the same way about Trump as I do MGK. Don't take that the wrong way. We love you. We love you, people at home. We love you, Trump supporters or non-Trump supporters.
We love you if you have an opinion that you formed on your own.
Yeah.
And we love you even if you didn't, because hopefully you can come back from that. So welcome to another episode of Brain Snacks with Jaxon and Max. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. How about you?
That was a cute face. I'm good, man. A little tired, a little wired, but man, I had a good week, long week, but a good week. Had a bunch of shows with the Pygmies. Obviously, that's what we do. Chrissy and I had another show. It was a corporate gig at a safety conference of all things. We had a blasty blast. And then, for my birthday, besides the laser cutter, which I'll talk a little bit more about my experience with that here shortly. But for my birthday, Chrissy also got us tickets to see one of my favorite bands ever, Nothing More. And we did the episode on philosophy, and you had brought up Alan Watts. They have snippets.
Which episode on philosophy?
Well, no, it was an episode titled Philosophy.
I feel you.
For those of you listening at home, I'm usually the one that comes up with the titles. So, although Jaxon probably remembers recording all these episodes, he may not know what the titles of the episodes are. Because I'm so anal retentive, I actually go back and I painstakingly listen and watch every single episode.
You've got a nice little file cabinet in your brain for them.
Yeah. But it's also, I'm trying to absorb as much knowledge from you as I can, and also try to keep a file base of where my biases were or how my mindset was working, back a year ago or a year and a half ago or 2 years ago when we started the podcast. So, yeah. But she got me tickets got us tickets to see Nothing More in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is only about 3 hours from the house. So it wasn't that bad of a drive. And it wasn't, it's a place called the Concourse in Knoxville, is a retrofitted supermarket that they turned into a concert venue, which I've always gone, dude, you see them all over the place, right?
That's a great idea.
Shut down it's a giant building, perfect to house a fairly 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people, depending on the size of the grocery store.
Build a fucking stage, put some curtains up, and open the doors. And build a bar.
They did. They went a little bit farther than that. It was actually pretty dope.
It could be as dope as you want, but I'm just saying, I mean, bare minimum, you don't have to do much.
I will say this, there was no signs at the concourse. There were no signs indicating where the bathroom was, and it was in the back corner, and it was the darkest part of the entire venue. So you had no idea, unless you had been there or you asked somebody that worked there, you would never find the bathroom because it was. So you walk in to the left, there's the stage, big open room. There's a bar to the left with a little bitty snack shack on the side of the bar. That was called Dude Fuego, like Guy Fieri. and it had a guy that was posted up and he had frosted tips and sunglasses on. They were totally trolling Guy Fieri.
That's funny.
Food Channel, Food Network, for those of you that interested, Guy Fieri, funny. But really, you couldn't. On the left, there was like the backstage. Go to the backstage area. They had a big barricade across the front of the stage, and then on the other side of the stage, there's just this long, dark hallway with some VIP seating. But there was one open door with a light on, like a light at the end of the tunnel. And that was the only indication that there was anything back there. No signs, no nothing. So when Chrissy and I first got there, again, after the long drive, it's like, we both got to pee. So we run in that bitch and we're like running around the entire place going, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? And it's not just me and Chrissy. They're like 4 other people that are just going, So we finally walked towards this light, going towards the light slowly. And we finally get there, and it's the women's room. And the men's room is along the same wall, but behind the stage and where the monitor console is. But there's no signs for it. And both the doors are open, so you don't know if that's the men's room when you first walk up.
Look, they're trying to keep the bathrooms clean.
Apparently.
They'd rather you piss on the floor because they're going to have to mop that anyways.
Yeah. So we get there. We finally managed to take a piss. We get front row, just off the edge of the stage on the guitar player's side. So, from the audience's perspective, stage left. That's where the guitar player sets up, and we get there early enough to catch the opener. Oddly enough, it was not an opening band. I sent you that video.
Yeah.
The Cherry Bombs, and they are like a burlesque dance group.
I think
I got go-go dancers or something.
I think that the leader of the troupe, or whatever you want to call it, it's Corey Taylor's wife.
Really?
Yeah. Alicia.
I don't think she was there.
She may not have been. It may be like a kind of how a burlesque troupe does, where it's like a family, or whatever.
Yeah.
They have like maybe a couple of different trios or whatever.
Yeah. So with Christy and I have seen the Cherry Bombs do their thing, which is basically stripping without stripping, to not, define it in a fairly accurate way. But we've seen them before when they did an opening slot for Steel Panther, back one of my previous birthdays when Chrissy had got me tickets to go see a concert. The difference in this show versus that show is that, so this, again, I explained that this was like a supermarket that's been retro modified to be a concert venue.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's huge, but they left the drop ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And they just painted it black, and it looks really good, and it's plenty of room for most bands, right?
Right.
But if you have go-go dancers, they can't put their portable stripper poles. They couldn't put them on stage because they'd have been going through the roof.
Really?
So they ended up pulling some of the ceiling tiles out, like in the middle of the crowd, like spaced out where the stage is, and then there's the crowd, and there's the mixing console for the front of house mixer. So the person that actually makes the music come out of the front speakers, for those of you that aren't musicians, that was set up in the back of the room. So between the front of the stage and the mixing console, they had pulled a couple of ceiling tiles out, and they had hung a couple of spinning things for the, I don't know what it's called. I mean, it looks like it's not a sex swing, but like they get up there and they do the twirls and whatnot,
like the ribbons
hanging in the air. It's like, it's not it. I've seen them do the ribbon dancing, and it was similar to that, but it was like harnesses.
Okay.
It was like a 4-piece harness, and this one girl was just doing all kinds of crazy crap, and she did this wild big split and just started spinning really fast. It was cool. It was entertaining. So you had some of the dancers that were on stage, and then you had some of the people that were doing the acrobatic things off stage, like kind of in the middle of the crowd, where you had security kind of, have the dance off circle.
That's cool.
And then I sent you that video of the girls taking the grinders. They had a big metal plate strapped to their crotch, and they came out to Motley Crue's Live Wire, and they got these wireless grinders just going, just shooting sparks all over the place.
America! Look, yeah!
And yes, that was the gist of it. I'm just like, I looked at Chrissy and like, I don't want to hate on, this is not me hating on anybody in particular. I just thought it was an amusing observation and a funny anecdote and a joke. So don't take this seriously, world. I'm not out to hurt anybody's feelings.
Oh my God. He has to say this.
But I looked at Chrissy and I said, so instead of stripping, you got these girls that I'm guessing were in dance team in high school and just didn't want to let go of that. So they just decided to do this.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a job. This is the land of the free.
Again, it was interpretive dance.
Proof that you can do anything you want.
And again, to their credit, this was also a last minute scheduled gig. So Nothing More has been touring with another big band called In This Moment headlining. But in this moment, somebody in the band got sick, and it put like the whole, I don't know if it was the singer or guitar player. I'm pretty sure it was just the singer, but they ended up canceling a bunch of their dates. And some of these dates are in really big venues. So Nothing More wasn't going to cancel because they still have a huge following everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had this other band, Sleep Token, that was opening. That opened for Nothing More after the Cherry Bombs, which that was an interesting interpretive dance kind of show. Like real band, real musicians, but still a lot of tracking and really artsy. I think you might have enjoyed it, but Chrissy loved it.
I've always heard they're good.
I couldn't get into it. It just wasn't my thing. It's not that I can't appreciate it for what it was, but I was just not, no. Yeah. I can enjoy it and appreciate it, but I'm just like, yeah, no, I wouldn't pay to see them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. But because In This Moment canceled all these shows, so Nothing More took over the headlining slot for a lot of these venues, because In This Moment, they're not going to go back and replay these shows. Apparently, I don't know why. They're not refunding money or tickets. So Nothing More is just like, fuck that. We're just going to keep rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition to taking over those headlining slots, one or two of the venues I know for sure just didn't want to do the show at all. So Nothing More went out on their own with their own agency and went ahead and booked like a couple extra shows where they're still headlining. So they're playing even more shows and playing a bigger, longer set, being the headliner, which is awesome for them. And it shows like, this is one of the reasons why I love this band, because they are so legit, hardworking, epic individuals. But it also means that Johnny, the singer, it's taken his toll on him, because that when you're on the road doing that life, again, I can understand it. You've been on the road. You can understand it. For anybody that's ever like road trip vacationed, you know how dragged out you are after being on the road for like 6 hours.
Oh yeah.
So imagine doing that
for months,
day after day after day after day after day. Yeah, that it gets you. Eventually, you do get some kind of immunity to it, but at the same time, physically, it just takes a toll on you. As a vocalist, he sounded great. One of the reasons that Nothing More is my favorite band is because they are incredibly innovative with their stage show. Their bass player literally builds most of their stage set. They have this giant thing called a scorpion tail, where it starts out as like a quad drum set. It's like 3 big toms and then one giant kick drum, just all turned up like
Slipknot style, yeah.
But at some point during the show, it's on hydraulics and the whole thing just tilts forward. So you see all the drums, and then there's this giant platform and this arm that swings out, and it's a MIDI controller. So like a keyboard for those of you that aren't familiar with the music jive talk that I'm going on right now. But it's a custom built MIDI controller that the drummer made and programmed, which that's right up my alley because I do that with the acoustic rig. But this is like another level from what I would do. This bass player is what I would aspire to be as a creator and entertainer. He's just so epic. But aside from just the visuals, like they have a whole new light set. Their stage set is awesome. They played a bunch of new songs. But here's the key thing for me as not just as a musician, but as a fan, because I fanboy out about nothing more.
Yeah.
They put on such an amazing show as a band. They sound almost as good as they do on the album. In some instances, they actually sound better than the album because the album's maybe just a little too polished.
Yeah.
And live, it's just a little bit grittier. But Johnny, the singer, his high notes and his rasp and his screams live on point. Even if he's just going, I can hear, because I'm a musician, I know all the signals.
Mm-hmm.
I read his body. Chrissy and I were reading his body language the whole night, and he got about 6 songs into 12 song set, and he was pointing at the engineer, trying to get him, hey, but I know he was struggling, but he still, despite him thinking that he's sucking, and we all know that feeling if you've been on stage before, he killed it. The whole band killed it.
Hell yeah.
And I was not overly enthused to just be like, I'm going to drive a total of 6 hours to go see a band today. I don't want to. And then we got there and I was just like, totally fucking worth it. Chrissy put it the best way. She goes, we needed this.
Yeah.
Like me and her, both Chrissy and I, we needed this, just a night, me and her. The Pygmies don't play Knoxville that often, so that we don't have a huge fan base there. So like nobody recognized me.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, and it's not that I don't mind having conversations, but nobody was trying to monopolize my time, and I'm trying to just enjoy a concert. So it was awesome.
Right. Heck yeah.
And the fact that they were tits.
Yeah. Nothing like that, man.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, again, great run. This week don't have a whole lot going on. I'm going to Clemson tomorrow. When this episode airs, I will actually be on the road to Clemson to play Study Hall. It's like the only venue in Clemson that actually has a stage, and it's also a catacorner stage, which is like the worst stage ever.
Oh my gosh.
It's the pie shaped stage. So the drummer goes in the back by the V.
How big is it?
And then it's big enough to hold us plus
Chestnut
back line.
Station?
Smaller. Mm. Smaller. Yeah. At least Chestnut Stations is squared off. This one's kind of rounded on the front.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes away even just that little bit extra room
Did
on
you
the
on
side.
the corners? Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, it's always a pretty decent show. We have a good time. The kids are
it'll be
always
packed. Yeah.
the kids are always enthusiastic. And then Friday, we had a show in Troy, but it got rescheduled. So we ended up picking up another show at this venue called 37 Main in Buford, which is an epic venue. So super stoked about playing that one. And then Saturday, I got my boy Marshall Elkins going to fill in on bass because I'm going with Chrissy to the Penn State Auburn game in Auburn.
Heck yeah. That's a week right there.
For those of you that don't know, my wife is not an Auburn fan. My wife is from Pennsylvania, actually lived in State College, and she is a huge Penn State fan. And we have a friend of ours coming in, Tracy Westmoreland. She's flying in tomorrow. She's going to come with us to the game. Also, a Penn State alumnist, however you say that word. So it's going to be a fun week. Again, it'll be a little peoply, maybe a little too peoply for me on Saturday, but the Chrissy wanted me to go, and I want to be with my wife and make her happy. So we're going to make that work.
Heck yeah. You guys are having a blast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't do stuff for us that often because we're so wrapped up in the Pygmy schedule or
And when you get home,
or,
you just want to rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, outside of that, man, you told me that you've been binging some Tim Dillon.
Every day, all day. Can't hear
Yeah.
what anyone has to say to me because I'm listening to Tim Dillon. Don't even care what you have to say because I'm listening to Tim Dillon.
Okay, so my exposure to Tim Dillon has been pretty much just Joe Rogan. I started listening to I started listening to one of his episodes, maybe the most recent one, on Monday when we were driving down to see the concert, and I didn't like the opening, so I was just like immediately just like, I'm not right now.
You didn't like the opening to, I'm sorry, you said his special?
No, not his special, like his podcast.
Okay.
So I just kind of when Tim Dillon's on Joe Rogan, like those are some of my favorite episodes because he's epic.
Right. Well, he plays a character, and you can tell that. Maybe, but I know he dials it up. Big
Oh yeah,
time.
he definitely turns it up. When you're in front of Joe Rogan's audience,
Yeah.
you're going to want to turn it up a little bit more.
Well, there's that, but he is himself on every podcast that he's on, and it's awesome to watch because he is an experience of a entertainer. In my opinion, it's like this guy is, and I'm not like trying to suck his D on this podcast, but I am recently a really big fan. He's one of these people that's I don't know, he's like a New York, LA kind of guy, comic, but completely has found a way to really see through a lot of the like bullshit. And that's that could be interpreted so many different ways.
Yeah.
But I mean all of the bullshit, like, and two people in their face, like, doesn't make any bones about keeping it real.
Yeah.
And you don't see that. You don't see that much. You know, even people that you think are that way are only that way selectively, but he is just a bulldozer of a person. So I like to listen to him.
So
one of his things that he does that's hilarious is it's a new method of when you hear woke people going instead of arguing the traditional argument and trying to make sense with them or try to reason, just go more woke. That's his, it's like I'm trying to think of a good example. He's like a topical comedian, like almost like talking about events and things in pop culture. So there's just be a specific event where someone thinks that, say, XYZ person said something offensive and they think they should be canceled. And his response would be that they actually need to be executed. And just go away. You that's not enough.
Yeah.
No, we should kill this person in the street. And he's very imaginative about going, I don't know. I just like him. He's a cool dude. So
do you, in your opinion or your estimation, since you've listened to him much more than I have outside of, the Joe Rogan show, in your estimation, do you think that that's a personality that he's portraying? Is that his actual personality, or is it a character that he's playing?
I think people could maybe decide that for yourself. I personally don't. It's too good, so I don't know. But I don't. I think there's an art to it. It's a performance. Yeah. He's revealing truths about maybe where he stands by way of reading between the lines and not necessarily he's not tiptoeing to try to get you to understand. He just sort of says things, and that's just a rare thing now.
He likes
people just don't say stuff anymore. People are very calculated, and I'm very calculated. So it gives me permission to like maybe
be a little bit more open.
Yeah, because it's funny. Because it's funny to be so uptight. It's stupid. You are now you become a joke.
Mhm.
And I'm so
Wait.
fucking uptight. I am learning to just laugh
Yeah.
at myself, for being like,
Uh.
what's going on, dude?
Well, it's the culture that we're surrounded by and bombarded with on a daily basis now is that you have to walk on eggshells or you might get canceled or you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I mean, there are people that are getting lawsuits now just for talking shit on the internet, which I think, yeah, you shouldn't be talking all this shit on the internet. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I think Tim Dillon likes to do what he presents everything in the way he does is because I think it is very much part of his personality, but I think just like I turn up my personality on stage with the Pygmies, I think he's turning it up a little bit more.
Oh yeah. I mean,
just
he's,
to get
he's
for the funny factor, but also I think he's being even more abrasive on purpose because it's that shock value that get the extra laugh.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he's being fake. I think he's just going beep, turning it up a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Definitely.
I agree. I don't know. I like storytellers. So
Yes.
I like people who tell stories. I understand things that way, I think.
Yeah. I did one other thing yesterday that I thought was really awkward, and I will send you a link to it, or you can just go to the Brain Snacks YouTube page. This is not something that everybody's going to be able to see, but Cam. So we have these Reach and Teach shows coming up, and we always have these students that want to get up and play a song with us, and usually it's like Enter Sandman or blah blah blah. So Cam wanted us to record like a tutorial video, and while I'm okay with one-on-one, like coaching somebody or showing them how to do something or how to play a bass line or doing something else in person. I did a little bit of that with you with the screen printing. I know I can be a little too long-winded with it. So I was trying to figure out, so I had this camera set up just over here. So I had different angles than this shot, but I had these cameras, both my cameras set up, one on the neck of my bass, one on my fret hand. One on my fret hand, one on my picking hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through this whole thing and I was just like, okay, there's four main parts. And then by the end of the tutorial, I'm like, well, technically I guess there's 7 parts because there's, your intro, then there's your verse, then there's your main riff, and then there's your pre-chorus, and there's your chorus. So that's 5. And then you have your solo, which is just a variation of those.
Yeah, I got way too.
It is. I mean, you might find it amusing to watch me try to teach somebody how to do this.
Oh, dude,
virtually.
I could never. I mean, I could never, dude, ever.
Well, I mean, teaching is kind of in my blood because my mother was a teacher. Again, retired now, and my father still, I think, is doing the safety training, which is a form of teaching because you're teaching people about safety.
Yeah.
Hazmat, Hazcom, Hazwhopper for anybody that may be in the oil field listening to this at some point. So yeah, that is in my blood. But also, if you break it down, I think you would be a pretty decent teacher if you put your mind to it and you figured out how to relate the knowledge that you have into words, and you relate it to your audience or whoever you're teaching. I think you would be really good at it just based on the fact that I know that you're a hell of an entertainer. And the two, I mean, are kind of baked into each other.
Yeah.
Because if you're a talented entertainer and you can convey a message or instructions in an entertaining way to hold somebody's attention, that's a very highly effective teaching method.
Yeah. That's
you would be a very effective teacher that way.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
So yeah, so homework. That's like, so I spent all my high school career hating homework, right? And now, like, Cam's giving me extra homework, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's like, God, like, I graduated high school. Like, they don't want me vaping at the school because it's a bad influence for the kids. And my argument is like, I can sit there and talk to these kids. Like, I can warn them about alcohol. I can warn them about cigarettes. I can warn them about tobacco, but I can explain to them why I vape is because I started smoking cigarettes, and you should never start smoking cigarettes. You should never start vaping, because all you're doing is trying to cover up whatever you're actually feeling instead of actually feeling and dealing with what you're dealing with. And you try to explain that to a teacher or a principal or an educator in today's society, and they're just like, you're a terrible influence. I'm like, yeah, well, these kids are also watching Pornhub and dipping in school. So
yeah, I'm not teaching them anything.
No, so. If anything, they could probably teach me a couple of things at this point.
Of course.
I mean, I'm pretty, technologically involved, and I understand and grasp a lot of concepts, but there are kids out there that would blow me away with the streaming setup.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a bullshit argument, and they know it.
Well,
I mean, like, I guess I understand that you wouldn't,
Well, vaping has become an epidemic in schools, and I can accept that, and I can agree with that. Well, but it doesn't mean that I'm the reason these kids are vaping.
No, and you're
especially if I'm the one going, don't do this. This is my crutch.
Yeah,
you don't need a crutch,
right? Not yet, and
not yet. We haven't crushed your soul enough for you to need supplemental chemicals.
It'll hit you, Timmy. Just wait.
Come here, Timmy. Take a puff of that. Come on.
That
no, man, that's not
far worse. No offense to the teachers out there. Hate that I even have to say that, but the way the system's set up, you're in a fluorescent prison with unmotivated, unenthusiastic people trying to tell you about something in a very uninteresting way. Typically, there are shining stars.
There are definitely
everybody
shining stars.
Remembers their teacher that went above and beyond or actually cared, but they're underpaid, unmotivated people, and
Joseph
that is what they produce.
Joseph Maillard.
Yeah,
that was my English teacher for sophomore, junior, senior year, and Joe Maillard. He's like, hey, you guys ever heard about my brother Mo Maillard? He runs a lawn service. I'm like, oh God, he's so corny. He was so corny, but he was so funny.
Good teacher.
Yes, hilarious and he was one of those teachers that would really engage with you.
Right.
So yeah,
I had a teacher in elementary school. She had the most epic name. Her name was I can't remember her first name, but her last name was Frangulis.
Frangulis.
And we called her Miss Franny. And when she would get when the levels of excitement or whatever would get out of control and she would get pissed, she would throw her shoes across the room. So the whole thing was just not to get her to that level of throwing her shoe.
So to get her just under it and pull it back a little bit.
Threaten it, like
yeah.
And she would also stand. We did like Shakespeare, and she would like stand on the table and she was a true actress. So people that go above and beyond at schools are like the real heroes.
Yeah. I 150% agree. I'm glad my mother got out when she did, especially considering all the heart problems she has currently. She got out right before my grandmother started going off the deep end with dementia, to the point where she every once in a while on a good day, she might remember me and she'll remember that I'm married. Doesn't remember Chrissy at all. But she had quit. She had retired, took early retirement the year before really started going downhill. But also my mother, like the hours and hours outside the classroom that she put in, she misses it. She misses the students. She misses, helping to shape young minds. But also she's just like, I just didn't have to deal with the stress of it anymore.
Right. Yeah. That's
it's
a lot of
well, she told
why she's in the health situation she's in, I mean,
well, no, well, I think most of that stems from chemotherapy taking its toll on her physically over the years, but it's also, the stress The stress would come sometimes from the students, but typically it was just coming from like not the principal, but like the superintendent or the assistant superintendent. They would start handing out new rules every year, and like her students, her class, they were always like above the state level, the state acceptable level. So she was she was an overachiever because she was doing like pre-college courses, college courses towards the end of her career. But also she was teaching mostly honors. But they would keep instituting new policies. The bureaucracy would get worse and worse because they're trying to make their schools look better so that they can get better funding without actually getting the students to do better. And it was
very hard to do. Very daunting.
Speaking of teachers, I have a hot take, and since we brought up Tim Dillion and the wokeness, so I read an article. I believe it was a teacher in Texas. If I'm wrong about the state she was in, well, whatever. Nobody really cares. But this teacher in Texas is probably gonna get the chop. She's gonna get booted for I'm guessing wokeism. Because she said that you should not refer to pedophiles with that term anymore. You need to refer to them as minor attracted people. So we can't use the word, her argument to her students, young impressionable students.
Don't listen to Tim Dillion. Don't listen.
No, I thought this would be a nice hot take for you to jump in on too, because if this is the society that we're in, where a teacher thinks it's okay to talk to a group of minors.
How what did it say? What grade level?
You know what? I can look it up here just a second. But
This
if you want to take over the conversation,
this is very interesting.
But Texas teacher fired. El Paso teachers firing over pedophile's comment in classroom touches off firestorm.
Yeah,
that's the Fox News headline.
It's a firestorm.
It is a firestorm.
Yes, it is. To put it lightly.
But, who taught English at Franklin High School? So Texas teacher who was fired for telling students don't judge people for wanting to have sex with 5-year-olds and asking them to call pedophiles minor attracted persons in disturbing classroom clip posted to TikTok.
What do you, I mean, all right, this is the thing. This is like, what is the real significance? This is my issue with wokeism. What is the real significance in rebranding stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's a pedophile, and it's still a pedophile. It's like, all right, this Dr. Pepper can is now, we're gonna call it a piece of paper. All right, this is a piece of paper, and I mean that's different. But
the great rebranding.
I don't know. It's just like a rebrand, but it's just a label. Like, I don't understand what, like, maybe we should be inflamed by that. You know, maybe when you hear the word pedophile, your ears are supposed to perk up because it's just something that you want to be aware of. I mean, dear Lord, it's like, I mean, I don't understand it. I can understand as an adult being compassionate towards people. Now, does that mean that we don't try to stop them from ever doing the thing again? No.
Yeah.
I mean, understanding they are lost. They're lost. However, what's the thing here?
What's the purpose of rebranding that to kids? Shouldn't you be warning kids about the dangers of adults, people that you perceive to have authority at that age, finding you attractive? Why is she trying to normalize that? That's what I don't understand. And I know she's not the only one. You hear a news blurb about this every couple of months or every couple of weeks. And I just want to go out on a record and say, it's not okay to fuck kids. If you have an attraction to younger, if you're a youth attracted person,
oh my God.
Again,
it makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Because
Because the way I see it from my perspective is like someone softening. You're softening that.
Yeah.
You're making
a minor attracted person. But here's the thing. You've got the fucking pharmaceutical companies that are they've got to be chopping at the bit to go ahead and fucking write a script to fucking chemically neuter somebody or blah, blah, blah. And we definitely as a society need to come together and just go, you know what? Fucking kids isn't cool. Can we just all go ahead and agree with that? Being a white supremacist and a Nazi, not cool. There are a handful of things that we should all be able to agree on. And I think that fucking kids should be like, yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah. I think that's most people. I think it's like, it's just such a weird stand to take for that to be your point. We don't say that. We say this because, and then reveal the reason why. Like why? Like why are you trying to power grab there? Why are you trying to stand up and soften that of all things? Like you have been in the books too much, woman.
Yeah.
Get out of your head and look around.
Well, I like, how many pedophiles does she know?
Maybe, and that's interesting too. Maybe someone in her family's a pedophile, and she doesn't like saying that. It's triggering to her. So now we got to call him or her. Her uncle is now not a pedophile. He's a minor attracted person, and that helps her hit the pillow a little better.
Bite the pillow a little better.
I mean, that's not her. That's not her thing to. I mean, it's not. Damn. That sucks. That's not cool.
Again, I think I can speak for you and Dustin and Andrew, who are not here. My wife as well. I think most people that I actually have had physical contact with. Don't have sex with kids. Just don't do that.
They're not kids.
That is not cool.
They're little people.
They're they're minors.
They're little people. They're not kids.
They're just tiny drunk humans.
I didn't have sex with those kids. I had sex with a little person. Sometimes you don't want a whole chocolate bar. You just want a kiss. You just want a Hershey kiss.
Oh, dude.
So disgusting.
I want to see
that's crazy.
I want to see the lawyer that enters that into a defense in court. Oh, but yeah, no, man, look, okay. The whole woke philosophy, woke society thing. Look, you want acceptance for everybody. Well, you can't exclude the people that you don't agree with. That's a two-way street. If you want to make an argument for minor attracted persons, but you want to condemn anybody that has conservative viewpoints, then you're a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah, that's not how.
And probably a fucking monster if you're going to defend a pedophile over, somebody that has some more conservative viewpoints than you do.
Well, sometimes conversations are tough and they're just conversations. We're supposed to have conversations. They're not supposed to be monochromatic. Hi, how are you? Oh, hi, how are you? Oh, I think this. Oh, me too. I think this. Oh, me too. That's not how conversations work.
No.
Like, you say something, I say something. You say something, I say something. And sometimes they don't mix. And that's where we have life. We have magic happening there.
Finding common ground, but also finding the potential validity in somebody's statement.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought of it that way.
Now, can you make an argument that it is hurtful to people that are attracted to minors, but they've never acted on it? It is maybe a chemical imbalance in their head. Can we have sympathy for them? Yes. Can we try to help them? Yes. But the second they cross that line, then I'm sorry, like chemical castration, and then throw them to the wolves in prison.
Yeah, anything and everything.
In my humble opinion.
Well, I mean, you ruin someone else's life.
Oh yeah, there's no accounting for what kind of trauma and long-term damage just one encounter could have.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to think about that. But conversely, like, it's not just about the wokeism shit, because you've got the far right conservatives, who I have many friends that are also far right conservatives, that don't want to hear a fucking peep about anything that the left side has to say. Like, again, we're not going to get deep into the bullshit, but to say that abortion is wrong under any circumstance, look, there's fucking gray areas and everything, except when it comes to fucking kids. No gray area there.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
No gray area there.
Nice way to tie that one up.
I had to, bam.
Yeah.
I had to put a pin in that so nobody goes, hey, he said that
There's a
maybe
gray area
it's
in
okay.
everything.
Under certain circumstances, I could fuck a kid. No, not
No.
cool, man. Don't fucking do that. Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna I'll check out some of Tim Dillon's podcast. Have you just been listening to his show?
I listen to the Tim Dillon show. Any other podcasts he's been on? I mean, there's a whole.
Oh, as just a guest, or does he co-host other podcasts other than the Tim Dillon show?
Not that I'm aware of. I think that's his only main show. So you can catch him there consistently. But you know, like I've said before, I listen to a lot of comedy. It really helps me, almost in a profound way. Gives me permission to relax, which I feel is a key to getting through the day. You know,
I've been a little uptight lately. I'm not gonna lie. Chrissy's definitely noticed. I've been just a little run down, a little tired, and a little bit more snippy than I should be with my beautiful, sexy wife. And she doesn't deserve for me to snap at her for any fucking thing. So maybe that's what I need to do, because I've really just been listening to audiobooks and podcasts.
yeah, man.
And most of the podcasts I listen to aren't like fucking comedies.
Well, I wish people would ditch the murder mysteries and all that and just listen to comedy. I get it, man. It's fascinating. Like,
dude, I am a 35-year-old woman. I am just eating up these murder podcasts.
My mother is that way 100%, and I understand it. But I just, for some reason, even since I was like really young, I always felt they made me feel in a subtle way very fearful and very like depressed almost. It's like I was sensitive. I'm a sensitive person, like a sensitive kid, just like, I don't know. I just always felt depressed. Like whenever Nancy Grace, oh my God, that shit would come on. My grandma like loved Nancy Grace, and it would just be, now it's funny to me because I'm like, this woman makes money off of this shit. Like, just a personality standing in front of murders, making money off of it, at late night. But I don't know. I prefer the vibrations of, comedy, the energy, just, great.
Like I said, maybe I'll take a page out of your book. I'll download a handful of his episodes of the Tim Dillon show and listen to that on my drive down to Clemson tomorrow.
You will laugh out loud and it will ring your skull and you will thank me because that's you'll be prepared to be a total just idiot, like driving and just bust out laughing to yourself.
Yeah.
And then look around to see if anyone saw that.
Right. Dude, I'm not self-conscious. I like, if on the rare occasions, because I'm one of those really, really weird, rare musicians that actually doesn't listen to music that much, because I'm just like, it's basically eats up so much time in my life. I'm just like, you know what? I need the spoken word. But not hip hop or rap, because give me some old school hip hop. I can get down with some old school rap, old school hip hop, where you could actually understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, they were interesting. Yeah,
well, they were interesting, and they were, but now they're not talking about their struggle anymore. They're just talking about their Bentleys and their Jordans. And like, look, while I appreciate the art form, and while I can appreciate that it does take talent to do and do well, dude, the guys, the OGs, you can't fuck with them.
Yep.
They were litty titty back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Snoop Dogg, dude. Oh my God. There was, Jamie Foxx has a new movie on Netflix, Day Shift.
All right.
Oh my God. Snoop Dogg makes an appearance. He's in it. It's, I'm not going to give away the entire movie, but the premise is
What genre?
vampires. So it's kind of a horror.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And it is like seriously awesome. And at one point in the movie, so you've seen the Velcro Pygmies play. For those of you that haven't seen the Velcro Pygmies play, we do a cover of an Ice-T song. It wasn't Ice-T, but it was his rock metal band.
Yeah.
But
they're
we do
still
Body
around
Count.
and they're still badass, by the way.
But they did Body Count was in the movie.
Okay.
And it was like only the second time I've, because I searched it after I started playing with the Pygmies, going, what is this fucking song? I don't know. What is it, Body Count?
Yeah. No, hey, you should check out their discography. They actually got some really good shit. I know that first album's a little, it's kind of corny. It's fun, but well, I don't know. There's a song called "They Know the Neighborhood" by them. Dude, it's a kick-ass song. It's so real too. That's the real shit.
But Body Count was in
That's
one part of the movie. And it was,
does Snoop turn into a fucking vampire? Please tell me that. Okay.
No.
I want to see vampires.
I think there is a movie where Snoop was a vampire though.
Really?
Yes, but he also like can turn into a black dog. Look, IMDb Snoop Dogg.
That's just
you guys at home too. You not just Jackson. You guys at home too.
That's just the real life Snoop. He turns into all that shit on his own.
Snoop Dogg is just like, look, he's the chillest dude on the planet, and yeah, I think he owns Death Row Records now.
You see my cat? She's in a sweater.
Yeah, what's up, kitty? Hey, kitty. You want to be on the podcast like my puppies?
That's possum.
Awesome. That's possum.
She jumps there.
That's adorable.
Yeah. Sure. Tell that's all the holes in this chair.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't destructive.
Yeah, but
you can be adorable and destructive.
That's true. That's what she is.
But yeah, man. I don't really. Oh, bam! Laser cutter.
Oh yeah,
right there.
That's awesome.
Look at that. Bam! I cut that out today.
That's sick.
I mean, it's pretty thick, giggity. And then also, I made a little box. And the box holds these little pins.
Did you have to glue that, or did it fit really tight?
I had to glue it. I could have got the tolerances a little bit tighter, but I did glue it together.
Yeah.
But these little pins, these are hold down pins. So I have this this honeycomb under the laser. So you lay your plywood or whatever material you're engraving or cutting. And because plywood is wood and it tends to warp after sitting out, these little hold downs go into the honeycomb. They hold your substrate flat to the honeycomb.
Very cool. So is so like on the box, is everything real smooth? Like it's all pretty consistent?
Oh yeah. All this, the tolerances on it, I mean, it's a pretty accurate laser for what it is. I mean, Chrissy didn't go out and spend $1,600 on a giant CO2 laser CNC machine that'll cut, 1-inch plywood, because that's maybe something that we look into in the future. Should this become more than just, hey, look what I can do. Look what I can do. But this laser is actually pretty accurate and has some pretty, you can achieve quite a bit of detail with it. So I'm looking forward to playing with it some more and maybe having some brain snacks, coasters, keychains, knickknacks.
All the little paddywhacks.
Knickknacks. Paddywhack, give a dog a bone. But also she got, with this laser, she got a rotary attachment. So in place of one of the axes, so it's much like a 3D printer, it has your laser head that slides side to side, and then that moves back and forth. Well, you remove the one that goes back and forth and you set it up, and it's a rotary. So potentially doing, I mean, mugs, shot glasses. Again, I don't drink.
That's sweet.
But you can also, I can engrave stainless, or I can mark stainless steel with it. So tumblers, custom tumblers, flasks, whatever.
Very cool.
Oh, and leather. So I'm going to start doing leather cuffs, and much like the straps that I use, the DiMarzio clip locks that I use for my instruments, both guitar and bass, except for my acoustic because I can't get it on the acoustic. I'm going to design a leather clip lock strap and just do custom jobs. If somebody wants one, I'll make one.
Yeah, cool.
So it'll be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun. So that's just one more because I don't have enough projects and hobbies. Let's do another one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to seeing some more stuff, guys. But with that, I got nothing else to talk about today. I don't think. Not that I can think of.
Just wanted to get the rep in and let everybody know that we're serious about this consistency thing. So
We're consistently consistent. So thank you guys for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed putting it on. If you would, please go to brainsnackspodcast.com and sign up for our newsletter, and make sure that you like and subscribe. If you're on the YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you're on an application for podcasts, go ahead and leave us a review, leave us a rating. And with that, we will leave you with a slightly modified version of the We Are Two Confident Idiots telling you it's not okay to fuck kids.
Ever.
No gray area there.
No. Sorry, you mean minor attracted people.
No. Don't be a pet. Don't be a petter-ass. Don't be a petter-ass.
That term should be publicly executed. Good night.
Oh. Good night, guys. We love you. Peace.
That's so bad, dude. I didn't have OBS open. Dude. I'm a fucking moron today.
I'm stopping the recording now.